There is a certain category of people in this world. They have a big fear. That is the fear of dying as a normal person. Because they have a big capacity and a big commitment, their head tells them that these are not small things. You should do something big. Here is this video for them. So such people have two options in life. Number one is to live a normal life and not reach their potential, their dreams and goals, and live with a great sense of loss throughout their lives. That is, to live half-heartedly. Number two is to push yourself towards a big goal like this and go for that goal without looking anywhere else. That is all I ask of you. If you have such a dream, what is the path you should choose? I mean, whichever of these two you choose, it is your personal choice. But there are some people who cannot live freely by betraying their dream. If you are not one of those people who think like that, whether you go for your dreams or not, you don't really need this video. But there are people who do, right? They see the direction they should go in their dreams. So, that big dream, that goal. If you often hear me talking, then I will tell you that you are not someone who should stop at small places. But at the same time, I will tell you something else. You have to start somewhere small. Because this is a personal journey. You cannot compare this to anyone else. You can't wait for anyone else to give you approval. Especially, it is your personal decision. Graham Stanford was a young man who graduated from the Graham Stanford School of Business and was reluctantly working a 9-to-5 job. Even though he didn't like it, he did that job very well. That is, he's a genius in his job. After a year of going to that job, he had to attend a certain conference. There, for 3 days straight, he has to sit through a boring presentation at this conference. It never becomes a part of anything. So he gets so fed up with it that the next morning, in the middle of the conference, he thinks he must have been there. What he does is he puts on his suit coat in the shape. He puts his notebook under the suit coat. Then, no one can find any evidence of what he's going to do. At the break at 10:04 in the morning, he's the last person in line when the others go to the conference room. Then, he feels like he's in a stall for another 5 minutes. He does all this to avoid this boring conference. Then he wonders for a moment whether he is a 27-year-old man. Is he hiding from his own company at this moment? Anyway, he escapes to his room on the top floor of the hotel. Then, after a moment of thought, he puts on his running shoes. He ties a red headband around his head. Then he runs out the back steps of the building and starts running on the Silverado Trail. The Silverado Trail is a scenic route that runs parallel to California State Route 29. You're right, he doesn't even have a shirt on. He just wants to unwind something in his head. He puts on a nice playlist while he runs. The music is backed up by the beauty of his surroundings. As he runs shirtless, he begins to hear a voice inside his head. The voice is telling him, "Graham, you don't have to do this. This isn't you. You don't have to do this. This isn't what you should do." He has heard this voice and that thought before, but this time it feels so powerful in his body. But while running, he starts to feel it. What that voice is saying is the truth. And then you start to feel a strange sense of peace and lightness. At the same time, he thinks, I need to start listening to that voice now. Even though the incident happened many years ago, he says that he still remembers the incident for two reasons. The first is that he starts dancing to the last song on his playlist. Then, after about 2 hours, he comes back to his room, but he is still wearing his sunglasses. After a while, he sees something moving here and there on the other side of his glasses. So he takes off his sunglasses and looks. It is only when he takes off his sunglasses that he sees the conference attendees are having an open house with his room next to them. So a few people see him dancing shirtless. The second thing, and the most important thing, is that he realizes that the voice he heard inside his head while running is telling him the truth. So he decides that he needs to keep listening to that voice. So he courageously listens to that voice and quits his boring job. Okay, what happens to him after that? Today, he's the co-founder of Alpine Ventures, a company with a net worth of over $18 billion. And he has also been a speaker at the Stanford Graduate School of Business for 22 years.